There's a story out about Kamala Harris. It's hard to know whether the story is true or not, but it's irrelevant insofar as you can tell what they're trying to do.
Exactly. Bradley, I'm going to send this here if we want to put this up on the screen. So last night, a story came out after Kamala Harris called for a ceasefire at a speech in Selma, Alabama. And then there was a pause, and then she said, for at least 6 weeks. There was mixed responses. One, the fact that she did seem kind of forceful and that there is a change in tone from the White House. I mean, it's way too delayed, was notable. But then the fact that she said that 6-week thing, it's like, or at least 6 weeks, is like, how much is this an update from your position previously for the past few weeks? That was a big part of why the United States was vetoing those UN ceasefire resolutions, because they said permanent as opposed to temporary. It was not enough of an improvement in my estimation, and I think many other people's estimations. So after that backlash happened, which was like, I think, not over the top, but still got the attention clearly of Kamala Harris's team. There was a piece last night, an exclusive in NBC News, where clearly her team leaked that she's not been happy with the Biden administration's policy on Gaza, and that they potentially edited her speech to add certain provisions, including potentially that 6-week language. Before Vice President Kamala Harris delivered pointed remarks Sunday about the need for an immediate 6-week ceasefire between Israel and Hamas as a part of a deal to release hostages, officials at the National Security Council toned down parts of her speech. 3 current U.S. officials and a former U.S. official familiar with the speech told NBC News. The original draft of Harris's speech, which is when it was sent to the National Security Council for review, was harsher on Israel about the dire humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip and the need for more aid than were the remarks she ultimately delivered, according to one of the current officials and the former official. 2 of the U.S. officials said the initial draft speech called out Israel more directly about the need to immediately allow aid trucks in. One of them described Harris's original language as strong but not controversial. The move to soften Harris's comments highlights how reluctant the White House still is to aggressively criticize Israel in public, as President Joe Biden tries to maintain some influence over the Israeli government and secure a hostage deal. The current officials said that the changes were tonal rather than shifts in policy, and that Harris's comments about a ceasefire, which were widely covered, reiterated Biden's remarks 2 days earlier and the administration's position on the war. Now, let's scroll actually to the bottom here, because this quote at the very end is, I think, the most notable part for me. Even before Harris called for a 6-week ceasefire, people inside and outside the Biden administration who are critical of Biden's handling of the war viewed Harris as wanting but unable to take a more forceful stance against the fighting in Gaza, a Democrat who helped elect Biden in 2020 told NBC News. That the person said Harris had gone to great lengths to show up as a more empathetic voice in her outreach to Muslim and Arab Americans, as well as other Democrats who are disturbed by the worsening situation after months of bombardment. Her hands are tied, the person said. People are not attacking her because they know this is not her policy. This is Biden's war. This is Biden's failure. I think she would have asked for a ceasefire a long time ago, the person added.
And again, this person is, quote, a Democrat who helped elect Biden in 2020. So
these are people close to her.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, in other words, that could be anybody.
But it's notable that she's leaking it. There's a range of outcomes for her, right? She's also thinking about her prospects in 2028. Distancing herself from this is going to be key, and she sees the writing on the wall. I think it's also true that she's more empathetic towards Palestinians than Biden, because as Democrats go,
I think it's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible to be as racist, honestly, towards the Palestinians and horrific in your foreign policy than Biden has. But the other side of it is she's wondering, is there an opening? And I know that it's such a slim chance, but if Biden's I'm out, dude, and people force him out, is she going to take his place as the nominee? I know it's the slimmest of chances, but there are a lot of seeds being planted, and she leaked some of this other stuff to Politico weeks earlier about how she disapproved of Biden's lack of sympathy towards the Palestinian people and how he was handling this. She understands, I think, that if she wants a future in the Democratic Party, everybody under 40 is just disgusted by this in the Democratic base. Two, I also think as a woman of color, she has a different experience in America than Biden has. Biden romanticizes Israel and romanticizes America and has a history of racist remarks about black people, about Arab people, and his actions reflect that as well. He's 81 years old or 80 years old. I forget exactly. He's not somebody who's going to change his mind. He's in fact only now responding to this because of the immense pressure. And so she's trying to distance herself from it for her political future. And then I also think there is a slim chance that she either takes over before November, slimmest. I am making that clear. But if Biden drops dead in their second term, if he gets elected, she also wants to be able to have some support from a younger voting base.
I think it's obvious, though, that nobody thinks that they can win anything in the Democratic Party with Joe Biden's perspective. I mean, he's already there. He's already the nominee. But anybody who would have any other future in the Democratic Party realizes this is untenable.
Good job to everybody who is unsatisfied, because this response and this further leak after I thought very cynical Edmund Pettus thing. This is the pressure that needs to be applied, and keep not taking just words for an answer.